All right, and we're live.
Democracy gives citizens a voice in legislation. In a democracy, citizens are allowed to freely express their opinions and beliefs through elected representatives. Without a democracy, citizens would not have a say in how they are governed and by who they are governed. The ability to have a voice in legislation through elected representatives is a privilege that we should not take for granted. As a dual citizen of the US and Mexico, I have been able to see the difference in how both countries deal with democracy. As a Mexican citizen, I have witnessed the effects of having government officials in office who are not there to represent the people's interests, but their own. As an American citizen, I have had the privilege to witness change through representatives that are in office by the people and for the people. Democracy matters to me because it has allowed me to have a voice in legislation that affects my everyday life.
All right, Paul, you're up.
I remember several months ago sitting outside an elementary school on a cold November morning. I saw a large group of people huddled in line waiting to do one thing: make their voices heard. I was serving as an election official that morning in my fluorescent election vest, also waiting in call like all those people in line. I was waiting for a car to pull up in the designated parking spot to help the disabled and elderly vote in that same election. I know that standing outside below in freezing temperatures at a polling location isn't going to be the joy of everyone's day. I know of the disappointment of finding out that a candidate you voted for lost in an election. But what I saw that morning shocked me. I saw peace. I saw canvassers from across the aisle trading snacks and talking about work yesterday. There were shipbuilders in line talking about football. And there was a mother explaining to her kids the importance of respecting people's opinions. It's easy to forget, even if all of democracy's failings, that peace is the norm. We think of events like that of January 6th as abhorrent and rare. My mother immigrated from the Philippines, and sometimes she tells me stories about the political life she was raised in. She lived under Ferdinand Marcos, the strongman ruler who ruled from the mid-60s until the mid-80s. She told me of communist guerrilla fighting, of Islamic insurrectionists in Mindanao, and of Marcos's martial law. She came to the United States because she wanted peace. And for that same reason, democracy matters to me.
Democracy matters to me because I believe the fundamental premise that allows for the most people to be happy is self-determination. The most important thing for me is the freedom to make decisions regarding my future, how I express myself, or even who I associate with. Democracy allows us, the people, to take the control of our lives, starting from the local level all the way up to the federal level, to make decisions that can not only help ourselves, but likewise help other people in the country. I think that while no form of government is perfect, democracy allows us the most equalizing of platforms that puts everyone on a similar standing so that we can express our beliefs and lobby for what we believe in on equal ground.
Democracy is one of the cornerstones of the United States. Politically, philosophically, and culturally, no greater influence can be seen on American society than our adherence and admiration for the principles of democracy upon which our founding fathers built our Constitution, a Constitution my father fought to protect. Democracy is the only form of government in which the people governed have a say in their own governance, and the importance of this fact cannot be stressed enough. People, regardless of their wealth, their freedom of movement, or any other freedoms they may be granted by their government, are not truly free so long as they have no say in their government, in the decisions made at the highest levels that will affect their lives. It is for these reasons that I value democracy both at home and abroad, and I will continue to uphold these principles and values of a democratic system of government so long as I am able.
The institutions that guard the United States' strong government have held American society together for over 2 centuries, and the most important institution that has been taken for granted as of late is democracy. Democracy as a concept has endured for ages against many challenges to it. From the global impacts it has through the lives it empowers across the globe, democracy is one of the most valuable political and philosophical cornerstones of government abroad, as well as the United States. Democracy is unique in the sense where the public holds the power in national decision making. This makes it invaluable to a government's stability, as power is concentrated in the public. This is key to having a functional state, as through a dictatorship, resentment could grow rapidly amongst the population. In giving the public the power to vote, change in public policy is possible in a nation. Therefore, citizens can use the powers of democracy to make their society beneficial for everyone involved. Democracy is not without its flaws as a system, and we can all learn from its core principles. But it is an invaluable tool of governance to me, and I will continue to uphold its principles as an American citizen.
Former U.S. President Abraham Lincoln once quoted that a democracy is of the people, by the people, and for the people. I remember firsthand witnessing our democracy being under siege when I watched the Capitol building being looted on January 6th by a coalition of insurrectionists and supremacist organizations in an attempt to subvert the certification process over Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election. Both my parents and I held feelings of distraught after witnessing what was noted to be one of the worst attacks against our country's regional security and institutions since September 11th. My parents were appalled by some of the demonstrations and internally encountered a series of questions, each illustrating, is this what a democracy consists of? Or is this how we represent our traditions of democracy on the world stage? Democracy is truly the most important government system that establishes a strong connection, not only towards our family values, but also to our personal lives. When my parents first immigrated to this country in 1997, they knew for sure that aspects surrounding the United States being acknowledged as a city on the hill were the reasons behind their decision to settle in this country. Their decisions to engage in political participation, as well as electing politicians of their choice, enabled them to earn their first taste of true democracy, a symbol of equality, freedom, and inclusiveness. Democracy as an emblem of our republic is what matters to me heavily because personally, the system not only changed my parents' lives, but its key tenets of equality and transparency are impactful towards myself and the lives of many.